The guaranteed offer is the easiest way to sell your home. It's really simple. We bring you an all-cash offer. You close in as little as 21 days. No home inspections, no lockboxes, no open houses. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer and start packing.
It's 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. My name is Chris Hand, and I'm joined in studio by a very, very special guest today who is celebrating a birthday. My oldest daughter, Kennedy, is here, back by popular demand. What's up, Kenny?
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Good.
It's a little bit of a change since the last time you were in here. You have braces now.
Oh, yeah.
This is a big deal.
Might be talking like this.
Don't do that. We gotta make sure that you're talking top notch, clear for the people. I already got a text as soon as Mason made the episode title. Somebody said, Kennedy, yes. I think they're more excited about you than me. What's up, man? How are you?
Good.
Are you excited to be here?
Yes, very excited.
What are we gonna do today?
We're going to change the name of the show to The Kennedy Hand Show.
Okay, all right. Step one.
Yep, and you're going to be my co-host.
Okay, deal.
And then I want to work with Mason.
Okay, we'll put you to work with Mason.
Yep.
Perfect. We can do that.
He's so popular, that Mason.
Everybody loves Mason.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not normal. Chris hates me.
Yeah, so we'll have you replace Mason for a little while, and
Yep.
he can train you to do his job. Maybe we'll put you in the newsroom with Joan Jones for a little bit.
Ooh,
That'd be
I would like
awesome.
that.
Like
Yeah.
you can break some stories.
Yeah.
I love it, and I know a topic near and dear to your heart, H-1B visas. We're going to discuss that today for sure. So
First, we need to discuss what that is.
yeah, well, we're waiting for your breakdown.
Okay.
I know you've been paying attention to the battle going on Twitter between the new right and the old right and H-1B. So Kennedy's an expert on that. She'll bring us the latest.
Okay.
This is perfect. I'm
I see
excited.
her eyes glazing over now.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm not going to bring her in here if she's not a subject matter expert on something. And I feel like H-1B visas is like your backyard. You know exactly what we're talking about
Oh,
there.
yeah, of course. Know exactly what we're talking about.
Perfect. So we'll have Kennedy's breakdown on the H-1B saga with
Makes sense.
with Elon and Vivek. Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay, you've done your research. You know what you're going to say?
maybe.
Kennedy is also celebrating a birthday today, 11 years old. What's the hardest thing about being an 11-year-old?
Probably just like reality and stuff.
Yes. It doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, wait till you're 50, honey.
Reality is hard. Reality is hard, especially in the clown world that we're living in.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You know, Joe Biden's on vacation again.
Of course he is.
Do you know where he went?
No.
He's going to St. Croix.
Oh my gosh.
You know a little bit about St. Croix. You've been there.
Yes.
Why have you been to St. Croix?
Because my grandparents live there.
That's right. That's right. They're there listening to you right now.
Oh.
Via the iHeartRadio app and the TuneIn app. You want to say hi?
Hi, Pops and Queenie.
And then don't leave out the other set of grandparents.
Oh, hi, Nana and Granny.
They're listening too. Not in St. Croix. St. Croix, Joe Biden actually messed up my wedding in St. Croix.
He did.
Yes, because he flew in and he had guests stuck on the tarmac waiting to get in, and then he had guests stuck on the tarmac waiting to leave.
Not in my household, not in my neighborhood.
So he always goes to St. Croix, and it's just it's a very, very small island, and then everything's more shut down than it should be.
Oh, yeah.
He's back on vacation. He's burning through the PTO before Donald Trump gets back in office on January 20th. So you got to do it. When are we going to hear from Joe Biden again? I think that's the question everybody wants to know.
When is the next time that people will hear from the president? I'm not going to get into hypotheticals. It is.
Well, okay. All right, deal. that was for a little while ago, but it fits. I'm gonna miss Joe. It's been pretty easy, having Joe around. He did take some time to acknowledge Kwanzaa though before he went on vacation.
Oh.
He did. At least I think it was him. Could have been an intern that put out the message. The Biden-Harris White House wished Americans a happy Kwanzaa to all that celebrate the holiday invented by a 1966 racist extremist who served prison time for torturing a woman. So thank you to the Biden administration for wishing everyone a happy Kwanzaa.
obviously.
We appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Kamala Harris, she celebrates Kwanzaa. She's been doing it for years. Do you remember in 2020 she dropped this Kwanzaa message to all of her Twitter followers?
Happy holidays, everyone. I wanted to take a moment to send my warmest wishes to everyone celebrating Kwanzaa. Like so many other holidays, we will be celebrating Kwanzaa a little differently this season in our home.
Yeah, it was back in 2020 during the pandemic. You remember that?
Yes.
She didn't celebrate Kwanzaa growing up. Can we be honest?
Never again.
She didn't. Okay.
Crazy.
This is what we're dealing with. I cannot wait until January 20th when these people are on their way out. In the meantime, Joe he's burning the place down as he leaves. He's giving all sorts of sweetheart deals to undermine the Trump administration to people for work from home and all that kind of stuff. He's also commuting a lot of sentences for convicted killers on his way out. He granted 37 clemencies to absolutely horrible people. And got them off the death penalty. Byron Donalds, though, he says that he's not sure Joe did any of that.
Look, I think what's happening with Joe Biden, nobody thinks he even knows about these clemencies or these pardons. This is the radical left staff that has been running this administration for the last 4 years.
Yeah, and I think it's probably the same exact radical staff that talked Kamala Harris into posting a Kwanzaa message. Is the same radical staff that had Joe Biden post a Kwanzaa message. This radical staff is working behind the scenes, much like they've done the entire Joe Biden presidency, because Joe can't do anything on his own.
Makes sense.
And so I agree with President Trump in what he said about these 37 individuals who've been granted clemency. This is outrageous. They should not have a Merry Christmas, to be perfectly blunt with you. But this is because we have the radical left doing all the things they've been wanting to do for a very long time on their way out the door, while Joe Biden's at the beach or taking a nap or whatever it is he's doing.
Do you think?
Yeah, well, he's going to be at the beach taking a nap today in St. Croix. So, it checks out. Joe's at the beach, and his radical staff is doing radical staff things, like trying to sell segments of the border wall that need to be constructed for pennies on the dollar, like granting all these clemencies and pardons. This is what we get. I don't think it's Joe. It's his radical staff.
Makes sense.
It makes sense, right?
Yep.
Yeah. See, Kennedy agrees. You got a glazed look over your eye as I started to go into the monologue a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I lose you for a second?
For a quick second.
Okay. You're back.
Yep, I'm back.
Okay, perfect. I got a great co-host in here. Kennedy Hand is joining me. The Biden administration, we're learning more and more that they did cover up the origins of COVID-19. This is per a Wall Street Journal report, which is interesting. This is like as more news comes out, it's just old news that we kind of already knew, and then we're proven right again and again, time and time again with the Biden administration. Wall Street Journal reports that the Biden administration officials suppressed information that was obtained by intelligence agencies that supported the COVID-19 lab leak theory, according to a new report from the Wall Street Journal. Again, had they just been paying attention online, some years ago, that this wouldn't need to be a new report by the Wall Street Journal. They could have broke this story in real time, but they chose not to. The report shows that there is evidence of a cover-up as to the origins of the virus and the spike protein that enables the COVID virus to infiltrate cells, and it shows that it was lab-made. The Wall Street Journal investigation found that Jason Bannon, a PhD in microbiology, was recruited by the FBI after the 9/11 attacks in order to bring expertise on topics such as biological and chemical weapons. And he was told by superiors that he would be brought in to brief President Joe Biden when COVID-19 was running rampant in 2021. However, he was never summoned to join the briefings with Biden. Out of the multiple agencies that investigated the origin of the pandemic, the FBI was the only agency to determine that there was a moderate confidence that it came from a lab. The 4 other departments said that the pandemic had an animal origin. They said it was people were eating pangolin, I think it was, at a wet market. They said it came from a seafood market.
Oh.
Don't worry about the level 4 biolab down the block.
Okay.
Makes sense, right?
Makes sense. Very nice.
It makes sense. So they knew, and they just asked to not brief Biden. They didn't have this guy brief Biden. Okay. I mean, had you briefed him, he probably wouldn't have known what was going on anyway. These people running things behind the scenes have been burning it all down. And these are the same people that were running Kamala Harris's campaign. You have a lot of these same people now wondering, how did we lose all this money during the Kamala campaign? Former Kamala advisor, donor, Lindy Lee, she's leaving the Democratic Party, and she's saying it's because they lit her money on fire.
Ashley, Merry Christmas. It's wonderful to be with you.
Merry Christmas.
This has been a long time coming. My initial disillusionment became clear when I realized that they burnt essentially set $2.5 billion on fire. They raised $1.5 billion through the campaign, another $1 billion through the super PAC Future Forward. And there's been no accountability. We still haven't gotten any answer as to why Oprah, a billionaire, got $2.5 million through her production company. Why couldn't she pay for it? She's an oligarch. She could have just paid for the production costs herself. And not to mention the fact that they spent $450,000 putting Kamala Harris's face on the sphere. Now tell me why that would be helpful. Tell me how that would help her win. Obviously, that was utter failure. And then they spent $500,000 essentially bribing Al Sharpton moments before he interviewed her. And this is our hard-earned money. This is the money that I worked so hard to raise. I raised millions of this, and donors are feeling burned. And let me tell you, although I might be the only one coming forward, I haven't met a single donor who disagrees with me.
No, and why would they disagree with you? I mean, you can make the argument Kamala Harris burned all of that money to the ground. You can make the argument we dodged a massive bullet by not putting her in charge of tax dollars when she can't even safely guard her campaign finances. We really, really dodged one. Lindy Lee, though, we have to understand, she could be doing all this for self-preservation. She could see that there was a lot of Republicans after Trump was elected that made a lot of money by being anti-Trump Republicans. And maybe there's the same kind of payday involved in being an anti-Biden, anti-Kamala Democrat. Perhaps. And maybe this is all self-preservation by Lindy Lee. But the facts of what she's saying can't be argued. They did burn the money on fire. They lit all the money on fire. They burned that campaign to the ground. You had $2.5 billion and you end up $20 million in debt. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. If I gave you $2.5 billion, Kennedy, and you ended up $20 million in debt, I'd be very disappointed.
I'd be disappointed in myself.
The Democrats should be disappointed in themselves. They aren't, though. They won't even acknowledge their shortcomings. They won't acknowledge their failures, but they will put out a nice Happy Kwanzaa message and go on vacation. That's nice.
Democrats.
Democrats. Exactly. Democrats. This is what we've learned to expect from them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously.
You know that. My co-host today is Kennedy Hand. She's going to be answering your phone calls, talking about what you want to talk about, 615-737-9986. The show is brought to us by our friends at Better Water LLC. We love those guys. Thank you for sponsoring the show, and we got a lot more to get to. Including the H-1B visas. We got an update on Luigi Mangione and Senator John Fetterman on the Donald Trump victory. Yeah, I got a lot more to get to. Plus, we'll talk about anything you want to talk about. 615-737-9986. We can do it a little bit of an agenda-free Friday here. It's a light week. We're just getting away from Christmas. We're heading into the new year, and we're coasting. We're coasting. So what do you want to talk about? 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Up ahead, we've got our eyes on what could be a severe storm system headed our way late tomorrow. Also, Vanderbilt fans gearing up for a big bowl game today. Those stories coming up at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan Jones. 924 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm Chris Hand, joined in studio by a very special guest co-host who's celebrating her 11th birthday, one Kennedy Hand. How you doing, Kenny?
Very good.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Gracing us with your presence. You like being in here? You like doing the work stuff?
It's the best.
All right. Well, we got to answer some phones. Okay. We open the phone lines. Where are we going first?
Let's start with Ron.
Okay. Let's go to Ron in Manchester. Ron, you're up first on Super Talk. How we doing, Ron?
Doing good. I need to speak to Kennedy, not you, Chris.
All right. Fair enough.
Hey, Kennedy, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, I just want to tell you that I've heard you on the radio before, that God has got some serious plans for you, that he's going to use your little voice, and as you grow up, you're going to be touching thousands of lives. So you keep on the track that your parents have got you on. They're raising you in the right direction, and know that God has got you. You've got to go through some valleys before you can appreciate the mountains. So I'm just speaking prophecy over you that you're going to prosper in the name of Jesus, touching many lives for the kingdom.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I tell you what, you're doing such a good job, and just maybe your dad can learn something from you.
Well, I don't know, Ron. That's a tall order.
Y'all have a blessed day. Love you, Chris.
Hey, love you, man. Appreciate you, Ron. God bless. Thank you. That was nice. Ron calling in. Yeah, listen, I completely agree.
Love you, Ron.
Yeah, Ron's on the money there. I completely agree. I think you keep going. The sky's the limit for you. And you're busy, man. You got a lot of stuff going on in your life these days, don't you? 11 is not easy. You're playing hockey?
Yep.
Where are you playing hockey?
Antioch.
Who are you playing for?
The Preds.
The Preds. So, I mean, that's been pretty fun. That's a challenge.
Big challenge.
Big challenge, but it's worth it. It's worth it. You got to do things that are hard. And then your acting has been awesome. You've been in a bunch of plays this year. What plays have you been in?
Oh gosh, I've been like 5 this year. Let's think.
Most interesting play?
Yeah. What was your favorite that you've been in?
Yeah.
Probably. Oh, this is so hard. Finding Nemo was like very interesting, and we had like 20 costume changes, so
that's fun.
That was like my fun. That was like one of my funnest plays, and so yeah, I think I'll go with that.
Finding Nemo was the best.
Yeah.
What part did you play?
I was ensemble, but my role was Tad. But okay. I played like thousands of other roles.
Oh yeah, you were all over the place in that play.
Oh my gosh, wow, it was a lot.
Yeah, but it was fun. It's worth it. You got to challenge yourself.
Definitely.
And you got another play coming up. Oh, she just gave me that. I can't talk about that one yet. It hasn't been announced yet.
We're not allowed to talk about it until New Year's.
Okay, so well then stay tuned. We'll have a big announcement. Okay, we'll bring you back.
She tells you she might have to kill you,
and we can announce it in real time.
Yeah.
She did. She gave me the look. This is the first time I've gotten the look with Kennedy on the air. Like, Dad, don't say that. But I got the look. So you got a busy year.
Yeah.
You got a busy year.
Whew.
You ready for it?
Yep.
I think you're going to do great.
Thank you.
I think you're going to do great. Also, a lot of people on the text line, they're clamoring to know your take on H-1B visas. So have you done your research yet? You can't come in and say you have a hot take on H-1B visas and then not provide a hot take on H-1B visas, Kennedy.
How about you just explain what H-1B visas were?
Perfect. All right. Kenny will let me take the lead on H-1B visas, and I will take the lead on H-1B visas. So after this, you'll go into the production room. You'll practice with Mason, and you'll be answering the phones back there. You'll be hitting the buttons while I do the H-1B visa stuff. And then after that, we'll send you back into the newsroom with Joan Jones. The text line is, they're pretty excited about the newsroom opportunity. There's a lot of girl power in that newsroom.
Yes,
sir. Oh,
yeah,
we needed a girl here.
Yeah, we needed a girl here. We need that boss lady energy that Joan brings, right?
Yes.
Yes, we need that. Everybody knows we need that. There's going to be so much boss lady energy back in that newsroom when you get back there. It's going to be brimming. I don't know if the news
boys
closet
will want to stay out.
I don't know if the news closet can handle it. Yeah.
They'll be afraid of us.
There's going to be like essential oils going back there and all sorts of stuff. It's going to be a blast. So when we get back after Jones' newscast, H-1B visas and the new war on the right that has launched just in this past day or two. It's been wild to watch it unfold, and we'll break it all down for you in the latest. Plus, Kennedy will be producing and taking your phone calls back in the studio with Mason, 615-737-9986. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It is 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Keeping you up to date here on the weather, which is expected to get a little dicey around here tomorrow on Saturday. Channel 4's Stefano DiPietro says that as it gets closer, the storm has changed a little bit.
What looked like it was going to be an afternoon and evening event is now turning into an evening and overnight event for us as widespread rain, some strong thunderstorms will be possible. Some of that rain could be heavy and cause some minor flooding, mostly in poor drainage areas, gusty winds with any thunderstorm.
And he also says the severe threat has expanded to include more of Middle Tennessee, including areas along and south of I-40. Now, there's also a chance that we'll see what he calls a spin-up tornado. So keep it here. We're going to keep you informed as this storm system moves closer to the Nashville area. Well, this will be a really busy day for airports all around the country, but including BNA, of course. That's where Channel 4's Joylyn Bukovac is reporting the big crowds this morning.
If you are picking someone up here are some helpful options to keep in mind. BNA's cell phone lot is free, and it shows live updates on flight arrivals. Or you can park for free as well for up to 30 minutes in terminal garages. We are also expecting to see rain this morning, so keep that in mind. Give yourself plenty of time to get to the airport safely in those conditions. And of course, do not forget to check those flight statuses before heading out the door.
Also, let you know that TSA wait times at BNA right now, less than 10 minutes. So that's good news. But there is stop and go traffic as you're approaching the airport. So heavy volume there. And if you're headed out, give yourself extra time so you're not in such a rush. Vanderbilt's football team hasn't been to a bowl since 2018, but that all changes today when the Commodores take on Georgia Tech at the Birmingham Bowl game. Coach Clark Leah wants his players to stay focused on this game and nothing else.
To finish well, to finish what we started, finish it well. We're obviously not guaranteed anything tomorrow. We're going to have to earn everything we get, and I just want to be proud of the way we play.
Yeah, the Birmingham Bowl starts at 2:30 this afternoon. That's the latest news. We've got your weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 9:32 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, here for my friends at Paul Winkler, Inc. You know, right around the new year, a lot of people make resolutions, right? And one of them is getting in shape. But if you're going to go to a gym, you're going to work with the best personal trainer, and you want to work with a guy that's fit. Well, the same is true if you want to get your finances in shape. You want to work with a guy that knows what he's doing, that's mentally fit, mentally sharp. That's why I recommend Paul Winkler and Paul Winkler, Inc. You probably know Paul. He hosts the Investor Coaching Show here on WTN every Saturday. That's appointment listening Saturday afternoons. But you may not know that he started that show after he spent time studying under an economist who went on to win a Nobel Prize. You see, that's who Paul trained under. That's pretty cool. And he's an avid collector of financial planning designations. He has up to 8 now. So my wife and I, we work with Paul. I get paid to do these commercials, but I don't get paid to be a client. I'm a client because I can trust Paul and I can trust his team. His team hold themselves to the highest level of fiduciary status. And because of that, I got to be honest with you, I like these guys, and they don't do anything on commission. They don't. They really focus on education, though, and they'll educate you every step of the way so you never get that uneasy feeling of blind trust. That is the best thing that they offer, that you never question what you're doing, because these guys are your experts. They'll look at your whole financial picture and then help you make some decisions. But you got to set up a 15-minute phone call today, and you do that on the website, paulwinkler.com. Get your financial freedom in sight today with Paul Winkler at paulwinkler.com.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy in the middle of downtown Franklin, Tennessee. We've talked so much about Savory Spice. I thought, why not show you the place? So let's go on in and see what's popping at Savory Spice. As I've always said, you will smell the spices even before you walk in. I can smell them right here in the doorway. Come on in, and let's introduce you to the one and only Holly, who is the owner and proprietor of Savory Spice. Say hey, Holly.
Hello, everyone.
Now, enough about Holly. Let's talk about spicy and easy products like the incredible taco soup, which, as I said, You put this in a crock pot, you put all the ingredients that it tells you to buy right there, you put the spices in, and it's so easy. So if you don't know what you're doing around the kitchen, it's a perfect way to find your way around the kitchen, as is the Mediterranean dill risotto. Now, for the holidays, pumpkin pie spice. What doesn't it have, Holly?
Pumpkin.
It doesn't have any pumpkin in it. That's a fun fact for all of you kids out there. Now, if you stop by Savory Spice, either in the Franklin location or at L&L Market, you can get yourself a sample of the dill dip, which is my absolute favorite. Just tell them Matt Murphy sent you to Savory Spice with purchase now. So come by Franklin or L&L Market in Nashville and come see Holly and the entire crew at Savory Spice.
It is 9:36 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Love those guys. You can listen to the show wherever you go on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the 99.7 WTN app. You can watch us, Super Talk TV, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. You can catch the show anytime on demand. Podcasts are available on Spotify and Apple and the 99.7 WTN app. And I think with all that, that's all the things. Kennedy, my lovely daughter, this newly minted 11-year-old who's celebrating a birthday today, she's producing in the back. Mason has his feet kicked up. Joan Jones is in the newsroom. And Kennedy, you're doing a good job back there, kid.
Thank you.
I got a text here from a good friend, Paul Winkler, who wanted to say happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul. We appreciate it. Paul's always tuned in. He's tuned in.
Always.
And if I do a Paul Winkler commercial, I think his ears perk up, and he's like, I have to tune into TN right now. And then he heard you were on, so he sent you a happy birthday. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate you, Paul. Yeah, Paul Winkler, good guy. All right, so we want to talk about these H-1B visas. That seems to be a rift in MAGA world, and the left are sinking their teeth into it. Oh, it's a war. It's a war in MAGA world. But the new right and the old right, and the topic of the war, the topic of the splintering is the H-1B visas. Big Tech's H-1B arguments aren't just false. They're also immoral. This is from the National Pulse. A fierce debate has broken out between President-elect Donald J. Trump's very recent tech industry supporters and his long-standing America First base. At the core of the disagreement is the subject of legal immigration, specifically how Trump should handle the so-called high-skilled foreign worker programs like the H-1B visa. One of the staunchest proponents of the expanding of the labor pool in this way is Elon Musk. And it was Christmas Day on Twitter that Musk exclaimed, America needs to double the more than 160,000 semiconductor industry engineers said to be required by 2032. He said, no, we need more like double that number yesterday. The number of people who are super talented engineers and super motivated in the USA is far too low, Musk wrote, adding, Think of this like a pro sports team. If you want your team to win the championship, you need to recruit the top talent wherever they may be. That enables the whole team to win. So this is the big argument. Do we need to import foreign workers for these high intelligent jobs, these very skilled, unique positions, or can we just train Americans to do these jobs? See, I think that we could just train Americans to do these jobs, but the argument from the new right, from these tech industry guys, from the Elon Musk, from Vivek Ramaswamy, is that we can't. We just can't. We have to import these workers. That there's a talent shortage. Okay, maybe there is a talent shortage. Maybe. But I have a bit of an issue. See, you look up a lot of these H-1B visas, and these aren't these highly skilled, qualified tech jobs like Elon or Vivek are talking about. See, I found an H-1B visa who you could be hired as a cook in Louisville, Kentucky for $20,000 a year. That's a little strange, isn't it? This doesn't seem like a highly qualified, highly skilled worker that needs to be imported into America because we don't have people that can do that job, right? And there's more examples of this. It's not just cooks in Kentucky. There are examples of AT&T. They have entry-level tech jobs open. AT&T, cybersecurity, data analysis, they call these entry-level jobs. And they need H-1B visas for this. Also, some of these jobs are cybersecurity. I mean, does a foreign national working in cybersecurity raise any red flags for you? I mean, what could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? But this is where the argument is. Do we actually need to import more people? And where do a lot of these H-1B visas go? They can't all be going to the tech industry, to these highly skilled, highly important jobs. They can't. They can't. And listen, when you import all of the top talent from other countries, what you're really doing is you're brain draining those other countries. Because now these smart individuals from these other countries, well, they're not there anymore. They're not making their countries great again. Also, in the era of the internet, I can work for Phoenix, Arizona, Turning Point USA, remote here in Nashville, Tennessee. We can't have some of these high-powered tech jobs working remote. Do we need to import all of them? I mean, these are the arguments that we need to have. These are the conversations we need to have. A lot of people are now doubling down and attacking Elon, attacking Vivek, and attacking them personally. I don't think that's the route we need to go. I think the route we need to go is really just attacking the policy and highlighting the nature in which we could scale back the H-1B program, right? I'm not saying we don't need some of these people, but we can all agree we don't need to import someone to be a cook in Louisville at $20,000 a year, right? I think that's pretty easy. But you bring in the top talent from around the world, and it sounds great, except for what it does to these other countries. It sounds great until you realize the jobs that they're taking from American citizens. It sounds great until you realize we could train our own people to do these jobs. We have over 300 million people in this country, and we can't train our own people to do this. We can't. Plus, we've all heard the horror stories of people training their own replacements that are H-1B visa imports. We've heard these stories for years now. We could be training Americans to do these jobs. We could. And these H-1B visas apply more to workers with skills than that native-born Americans can easily learn, right? Americans should easily be able to learn these skills through technical training programs, through college classes. These are skills that Americans can acquire. Why do we need to import people for them? Why? Well, I think that the real reason the tech bros are for it is because, they can pay them less. Let's be perfectly honest. You can pay an H-1B import visa worker a lot less than you can pay an American-born worker. Plain and simple. And really what these H-1B visas come down to is just that. At least for me, when I look at the tech bros, it comes down to the bottom line. And I don't knock them for bringing it down to the bottom line and trying to be as efficient as they can with the dollars that they have. I'm not knocking them for that. But as a country, we can do a lot better, and we can make sure that that's not the case and that they have to employ American-born workers. Can we do that? Can we? H-1B workers are paid significantly less than their American-born counterparts. This effectively puts downward pressure on wages across the industry, meaning American workers also get paid less. Secondly, because the visa is attached to a sponsor company, the foreign worker lacks the leverage afforded to American-born workers who can demand higher salaries by simply looking to take a job with a different firm. It doesn't help at all. There's little data that actually supports the tech industry claims of a worker shortage and a need to end H-1B country caps. The data does suggest, however, that big tech is replacing qualified and capable American workers with cheaper foreign labor. If you own a company, if I owned a company and that was an option, I'd probably do the exact same thing. I'm not knocking these companies for doing that, but we can do better as a country, and we can put a little bit more restrictions on this. Between 2022 and 2024, Amazon laid off nearly 30,000 high-skilled workers. In the same period, though, in compliance with federal law regarding when companies can request H-1B visa workers, the online retail giant expanded its workforce by nearly 100,000 foreign workers. So they're firing Americans and they're hiring foreign-born workers. And you can see this across the board through many different companies and many different data sets. Amazon has asked the federal government for a total allotment of 125,000 new H-1B visa workers between 2022 and 2024, while they requested to retain around 90,000. Similar trends are true for Google and Microsoft. Between 22 and 24, nearly 60,000 American workers were laid off among the three companies, while the companies increased their H-1B employees by over 340%. I mean, it's replacement theory in real time is what we're watching with the H-1B visas. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. And it hurts American-born workers. It stifles American wages. There's no getting around that. None. But they tell us there's a labor shortage. They tell us that there's no Americans to do these jobs. Ultimately, that's where their argument hinges, right? That there's a domestic worker shortage. But if you look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the current native-born American labor force participation is around 63%. Meanwhile, the foreign-born labor force participation is at 68%. Importantly, from the Wall Street Journal, census data shows immigrants who arrived since the start of 2020 are more than twice as likely to lack a high school diploma as U.S.-born workers. So they're not equipped for these jobs either. In January 2007, the overall American labor force participation rate was around 66%, but has since declined to 62.5%. When you examine the data overall, there's a strong suggestion that the high labor force participation among foreign-born workers is actually the cause of the lower rate of participation among native-born workers. This is what happened first, the chicken or the egg. Did we have an American labor shortage first, or did we have too many H-1B visa workers first? Well, the data shows that the more H-1B visas that we brought in, the less American labor force participation we had. Weird how that works. Even the big tech companies, their own annual reports suggest that they're not suffering from any significant shortage in labor. I mean, look at Elon's company, Tesla. They slashed 14% of its workforce in 2024. Would you do that if you were struggling to bring in workers? Would you? Honestly. Generally, a company struggling with their labor needs would not be cutting 14% of their workers, right? If it can't keep up with the demands for hiring, would they be cutting 14% of their staff? No. Of course not. Of course not. This is the issue that we're at today. This is where we are. This is going to be a big, big issue for the right. And are we going to lose some of our new friends because of their political leanings? Maybe. I don't think attacking Elon Musk is the right move, though. I don't think attacking Vivek personally is the right move. I think we just need to expose them and expose this argument on its face. It's very easy to do this, too. It takes a little bit of research to do this. Just a little bit. just a little bit. You can really do most of your research on the platform that Elon owns now, Twitter. Over the past few decades, 71% of jobs in Silicon Valley have gone to foreign workers, while 74% of American STEM graduates have failed to secure jobs in STEM fields. Interesting, right? Isn't that odd how that works out? We don't have Americans to do these jobs. Yet, over the past few decades, 71% of the jobs in Silicon Valley have gone to foreign workers, and 74% of American STEM graduates have failed to secure jobs in the STEM field. Interesting. Weird. What a coincidence. What a coincidence. Now, you have these industries like tech and computers, and let's be honest, the fields are becoming saturated with Indian workers. That's where we're at. And we keep getting more and more, and it's becoming a bit of an issue in the tech industry. The population of Indian nationals in the United States has grown 13-fold since 1980. Every year, Indian nationals consistently rank as the second largest recipients of green cards, with more than 100,000 issued annually. Additionally, there are 330,000 foreign students from India studying in the U.S. So I just wonder, how do we not have enough foreign-born workers that could do these jobs? It's just interesting, right? Just a question. I think these are the questions that we need to ask. How exactly do we not have enough foreign-born workers? How many foreign-born workers do we need? How many American jobs are you willing to sacrifice? These are the questions we need to be asking. I'm not a huge fan of the H-1B visas. I'm also not a fan of attacking Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy personally. Listen, they can be wrong on this, and we can still agree with them on other things and work to get this America First agenda back on track. And I think that's where we need to go. And I don't think we're going to get to where we need to be with America First by alienating a couple of our biggest supporters in Elon and Vivek. We just won't. We need to expose the H-1B visa argument, and we will. And you can already see that the argument, we're winning it online. Make no mistake about that. We're winning the argument online. But this is going to be a fight. One of many. And they're going to use this as a wedge to divide the MAGA movement. Don't let them. Don't. That's silly. We need the team to win, okay? But when bad ideas come across the desk, we need to call them out, even if it's our own teammates pushing these bad ideas. Plain and simple. It's 9:52 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Populations of animals. I mean, think about the white-tailed deer and how when Ed started, and maybe even before Ed a little bit, they started, working to bring these populations back. And now we have these sustainable populations that we can hunt.
Yeah.
The story of the eastern wild turkey and what's happening with turkeys. So I would consider all these things great successes. The conservation efforts that have been worked on by the personnel for years. I would think that it's a great success story for our state.
You're going to see some footage from an old film that was produced here at the agency in the Game and Fish days, and which shows some things like, the wife taking care of the animal that the officer, the husband, had to bring home to take care of, because they got a call, and times have changed. Now we have the rehabilitators that help out with that kind of thing. And
thank goodness. We got to be really good friends with some of those little animals. And my first commission in 1972.
Okay, yeah.
At that time, it was a little different. The whole law enforcement world was different then. Yep. So anyway, we got the first commission in 1972 and worked all over the state. It was really great to be able to do that. Pretty much, you had one uniform. And I noticed in the movie too, everybody wearing ties. For years and years, you had to. If you wore a long sleeve shirt, you had to wear a tie. It didn't matter if you were doing enforcement or sailing a pond or whatever you were doing. You had that tie on.
Oh wow!
Wow!
And then everybody looked forward. There was one date, and it kind of moved. It was generally around April 1st. You switched from long sleeves to short sleeves, and you didn't have to wear a tie. And everybody's going, "Come on, April 1st."
The flu makes a comeback in the Nashville area. A local high school band gets a big honor, but they need some help. We'll explain those stories coming up at 10 a.m. on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Whoa, what a pro back there.
I better watch out for my job.
You got to
right?
look out, Joan.
Yeah.
Listen, yikes. Looking forward to those headlines. Thank you, Kennedy.
You're welcome.
I was going to say, Brooks is taking my job and Kennedy's taking Jones.
Jeez.
We're going to be the youngest team here.
It's like the Partridge Family, except with a radio station. It's going to be awesome. Well, great job, Kennedy. Looking forward to those headlines on the way.
Thank you.
10 o'clock. What a beast, this kid. She can cover all these positions on the court. I'm here
Wild.
for it.
It's
I'm here for
impressive.
it.
It's impressive.
Hey, you know, what can you do? You just gotta give these kids the room to grow.
Oh, absolutely.
Give them the runway. They'll do it. It's 9:57 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. My name is Chris Hand, talking about H-1B visas and reading through some of your texts. A lot of birthday messages for Kennedy, saying happy birthday to Kennedy, who's 11 today. Thank you guys for those. But listen, the H-1B visas, man. This is going to be a discussion that needs to be had. It has to be had. And there are ways that you could win me on the argument that maybe we do need some skilled workers. Like I got a text here and he was telling me about, how long it takes to train somebody at these semiconductor plants. How, by the time you train them up, then the industry's passed them by and this and that. I get it. But how does that apply to a chef in Louisville making $20,000 a year? I think that you can't tell me we need more H-1B visas when there are clearly some slots that could be filled already by American citizens, right? We don't need to import people to then be a chef. We don't need to import people for entry-level IT jobs at AT&T. We don't. If there's a high-skilled, high-demand job and you want to make the case that you absolutely need to bring somebody in, then I'm all ears. And I'm not against bringing in top talent from across the world. I'm not. But if you tell me that it's for a $22,000 a year job cooking food in Louisville, Kentucky, I'm going to tell you we have Americans that can do that work. And I think what this always boils down to is that the people that are getting hurt by the importation of foreign-born workers are American citizens every single time. And there's a lot of this. I saw one stat about assistant professors. Assistant professors at our universities and colleges are really making up a high portion of these H-1B visas. Huh. You couldn't find an American to be an assistant professor. Do you see why I think there's some flaws in this logic? You can't tell me you need to expand the program and also have the program currently as it stands offering entry-level jobs at AT&T or cooking jobs in Louisville or assistant professor jobs at our universities. You just can't. You can't. There are Americans for those jobs. So let's tighten up the bottom, and then let me hear your argument for those jobs at the top. That's what I want. I just want to hear your argument. But the argument. I don't want to hear personal attacks against Elon or Vivek. They can be wrong on this topic, but we can't splinter the movement over one fight because we have so many more fights in front of us. Believe me when I tell you, we have a lot of fights in front of us come 2025. It's 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.